It is radio talk show host and Fox News contributor David Webb and Democratic strategist Danielle McLaughlin. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Ladies first. So is it time for the president to stand up and say enough is enough?
I think the president has a role to play here. Absolutely. He is still the president through January 20th. I think Donald Trump also has a role to play in terms of speaking to the people who are out there on the streets protesting the fact that he has become the president-elect. I think that's going to, both people here have a role to play.
But who has a more significant role?
Well, Obama is the president, and so I would say that it is him. A couple of days ago, Donald Trump came out and said he didn't regret any of the divisive rhetoric that he had used in this campaign. And, you know,
So is Trump to blame for these protests then?
I think that civil disobedience, that this is a First Amendment right, the right of speech, the right of assembly is absolutely a constitutional right. We have to respect it.
All right.
But burning cars is not in the Constitution.
David, to that point, burning cars not in the Constitution. You followed these very closely. What are you seeing?
Neither is marching down 6th Avenue, blocking traffic, hindering people, hindering commerce. Let's look at what this is. Obama's not going to call for calm. Why? They had MoveOn.org and other organizations had celebrations planned if Hillary Clinton won. She didn't win. So basically they flip the switch and they go to protests. The protests turn into riots. Properties destroyed. We now have one person shot in Portland. And I've been tracking these. It's no different than what happened after 2008. Oh, yes, it is. That's right. There were no marches, no riots by the Tea Parties. This is a problem. The leftists have lost. They have been rejected by the American people. Donald Trump, yes, he's already made it clear that, you know, this is our process, this is how it works. He doesn't play a role. Obama won't play the role because it doesn't serve his purposes. Sure. Hillary Clinton, who insulted her supporters by not coming out and speaking to them the night she lost the election,
sure,
because they're beneath her. They're just energy for the leftists. Let's not kid ourselves. Well, I've got people working in these protests, walking now in Portland, and I'm telling you what's going on and who's in charge.
How much of these, though, to that point, how much of these protests are a simmering Bernie factor, too? The fact that the left rejected the candidate they really wanted in Bernie Sanders, and so they're rejecting Donald Trump, who they don't like, but they're also rejecting what they feel like is a system that never included them.
It's hard to say. I want to go back to your point about impugning Hillary Clinton and all of this. I think that she showed grace and really said to the American people, this is a time to get behind Donald Trump. I think there is a Bernie part in here. I think there are certainly progressives within the Democratic Party who want to see kind of burn down the party now because we didn't succeed where we thought that we really might. I think we also need to have as a part of this conversation, the fact that maybe if it had been a Marco Rubio or a Ted Cruz, that maybe we wouldn't have seen this. And we have to see.
The Republicans don't have a role in what the leftists do. You can't take the left and the progressive left that have taken over the Democrat Party and blame the Republicans for their actions.
I think we have to acknowledge
foolish and it makes no sense. But this is not Donald Trump's issue. He's not out there ginning up the marches and leading the protesters to damage property, to take baseball bats to property.
And nor is any leader of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but is there not a duplicity to that point? In 2008, Barack Obama won. He had promised to fundamentally transform our country. A lot of conservatives were disappointed. There were no burning of cars and destroying of buildings. Is this something intrinsic to the left?
No, I don't think it is. I think this is something that's intrinsic to Donald Trump. This is somebody.
But Trump supporters were burning cars.
Sorry. At this point, I have a major objection. I helped found the Tea Party movement. I put 20,000 people down at City Hall Park, thousands at other locations around the city, tens of thousands, millions around the country. And can you tell me the number of arrests, violence, breaking into businesses, destroying police cars? We've seen this out of the left since. We had policy objections. We voiced them. Civil disobedience. We did it by civil obedience. We didn't go out and do that. So don't even give me any. There is no moral no comparison between the right and left, or any responsibility on the right when it comes to this.
Briefly, we'll give you last.
Of course. So Oregon wildlife protesters took over federal lands for 40, 60 days or so. So we have seen this kind of slightly different, but we had armed men in Oregon doing things that were
wasn't tied to a party,
maybe
however.
Massively different, but I take your point.
But it is still the same kind of a thing.
You're reaching, Danielle. I like you, but you're reaching.
That feels like a reach, but yes, no. This debate will continue. The protests are going to continue as well. Hopefully they turn down.
They've turned into into riots. This is the problem.
Good point.
Peaceful protesters are not in charge anymore. We saw that with Occupy.
Right.
We saw that with Ferguson. We see it with Baltimore. It is or Raleigh with Moral Mondays. It turns into riots. And the problem is the left needs to take control of what they do on their side.
We're going to leave it.
Not
We're
blame
going to leave it there so this
Republicans.
doesn't turn into a riot. David, Danielle, thank you very much for your spirited conversation this morning. All right, the Clinton